In a move that sent shockwaves through the global economy, U.S. President Donald Trump imposed new tariffs on over 180 countries in April 2025. This action marked an escalation of the ongoing trade war that had been brewing for several years. The tariffs, implemented in 2 phases, were designed to address what the U.S. perceived as unfair trade practices and reduce its trade deficit. A 10% baseline tariff on all imports came into effect on April 5, 2025, followed by higher tariffs for countries with large trade deficits on April 9, 2025. These tariffs, aimed at compelling other nations to renegotiate trade deals, have significantly impacted global trade flows. India, a rising economic powerhouse with a substantial trade relationship with the U.S., found itself in the crosshairs of this trade war. The U.S. imposed a 26% tariff on Indian goods, a move that has sparked concerns and debates within India's business and political circles. On addressing India, U.S. President Donald Trump shouted, "India, very, very tough. Very, very tough." The Prime Minister just left. "He's a good friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but you're not treating us right. They charge us 52%. While this tariff rate is lower than those levied on some countries like China, at 34%, and Vietnam, at 46%, it is significantly higher than the 10% imposed on allies like Australia and European Union. This disparity in tariff rates reflects the complex geopolitical and economic considerations at play in the U.S.'s trade policy. The U.S. administration cited several reasons for imposing a 26% tariff on India. One primary reason was the perceived trade imbalance between the two nations. The U.S. has consistently run a trade deficit with India, with Indian exports to the U.S. exceeding imports. This imbalance, according to the Trump administration, justified the imposition of tariffs to protect American jobs and industries. Another reason cited was India's tariff structure. The U.S. Trade Representative's 2025 National Trade Estimate report highlighted India's high average most favored nation applied tariff rate of 17% in 2023. This, according to the U.S., put American businesses at a disadvantage in the Indian market. The U.S. administration argued that 26% tariff was a way to level the playing field and encourage India to lower its tariffs. The 26% tariff on Indian goods has had a significant impact on various sectors of the Indian economy. Industries reliant on exports to the U.S., such as seafood, dairy, wine, diamonds, electronics, and chemicals, have experienced disruptions and uncertainties. The gems and jewelry sector, as well as automotive, electronics, and textile industries, has been particularly vulnerable to the tariffs. However, the impact of the tariffs has not been uniformly negative across all sectors. The pharmaceutical industry, a major player in the Indian economy, has been exempt from the tariffs. This exemption is a significant advantage for India, as the U.S. is a major market for Indian pharmaceuticals. The Make in India initiative, launched by the Indian government to boost domestic manufacturing, has also gained momentum in light of the tariffs. Companies like Apple and Samsung have reportedly increased their production in India to avoid higher tariffs from China and Vietnam, potentially boosting India's electronics manufacturing sector. India has taken a measured response to the trade tariffs, carefully balancing its economic interests with diplomatic negotiations. By imposing retaliatory tariffs on select American goods, India aims to protect its domestic industries while sending a clear message of resilience. Looking ahead, India is exploring new trade partnerships and diversifying its export markets to reduce dependency on any single country. India's approach involves leveraging its strengths, such as a robust IT sector and a growing manufacturing base, to stay competitive. Additionally, India is investing in infrastructure and innovation to boost its export capabilities. By engaging in multilateral trade agreements and fostering regional cooperation, India seeks to create a more balanced and sustainable trade environment. Please like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.